Hi makers, welcome back to the channel. I hope you are doing great. In our previous videos, we saw how to control LEDs independently using parallel circuits, and we also covered the basics of how push buttons work. Today, it's time to level up and bring all that knowledge together. We are going to build a project that uses two buttons in parallel to control two independent sets of LEDs. It's the perfect way to practice how these components interact when used together. But before we start grabbing our LEDs and jumper wires, let's do a quick recap of how parallel circuits actually behave when we apply them to buttons. We'll start simple with a single button controlling one LED. First, let's pop the button just right across the center gap of the board. Now add a 220 ohm resistor between the 5-volt rail and the anode to protect the LED. Make sure the cathode of the LED is connected to one leg of the button. You can either connect it directly or use a jumper wire, whichever is more convenient for you. Finally, let's link the other leg of the button to ground to close the loop. Now, we'll bring the 5-volt and ground pins to the Arduino over to the breadboard rails. One important thing to notice here: since we are using the Arduino just as a power source here and not reading any input from the button, we don't need a pull-down resistor. That means there's no risk of a floating input in this setup. If that sounds unfamiliar, you might want to check the video where I explain how push buttons work. Let's power this up. And as you can see, the LED only turns on while I'm pressing the button. And as soon as I release it, the LED turns off. Now, let's see what happens if we add a second button. We're going to wire this one in series. To do that, let's swap this black jumper for a green one to connect the first button directly to the second. Then, we'll ground the second button to close the circuit. Alright, let's power it again. If you press this button, nothing happens. If you press the other one, still nothing. Why? Because they are in series. The circuit stays open unless both buttons are pressed at the same time. That's not very practical for what we want, right? So let's fix this by wiring them in parallel. We'll keep the components where they are, but instead of chaining the buttons, let's give each one its own path to the LED. We also need to make sure the second button has its own connection to ground. Otherwise, our circuit won't stay closed. By doing this, we have created two independent paths for the current. It doesn't matter which button we hit, the LED lights up either way. Now that we've got this done, let's scale it up to a bigger project. Here's what we are going to build together. We'll have two push buttons, one for the green LEDs and another for the yellow ones. To make things easier to track, we are using jumper wires that match the LED colors. That way, we can clearly follow the green path versus the yellow path. The goal is simple. When we press the first button, the green LEDs will blink alternately. When we hit the second button, the yellow LEDs will turn on and off at the same time. Tinkercad actually has a schematic view you can look at, but honestly, for a project like this, I find it much easier to just follow the physical layout. That's why I've linked this Tinkercad project in the description below. So if you miss a connection or get lost during the build, you can always check it there. Alright, let's get to it and build this circuit. Let's start by placing our push buttons on the breadboard. In our previous circuits, we didn't use resistors with the buttons because they weren't connected to the Arduino's input pins. However, since we are now using the Arduino to read these buttons, we could run into a floating input problem. To fix this, we can either use an external 10K resistor or simply enable the Arduino's internal pull-up resistor in the code. We'll go with the internal option to keep the wiring cleaner. With that in mind, we'll connect the lower leg of the first button to ground and the upper leg to digital pin 12. Next, we do the same for the second button, this time connecting it to digital pin 11. Now, for this green circuit, we are going to use 3 green LEDs. Each one gets its own 220 ohm resistor from the cathode to ground. Then, we connect each anode to a separate pin. The first LED connects to pin 7, the second to pin 6, and the third to pin 5. This setup allows the green button to control each LED individually. For the yellow pad, controlled by our second button, we are adding the 2 yellow LEDs to the breadboard. And just like before, we need to connect a 220 ohm resistor from each cathode to ground. But here's the main difference between the two pads. Instead of using 2 separate output pins like we did for the green LEDs, we are going to connect pin 4 to the anode of the first yellow LED and then use a jumper wire to link it to the second one. This means they share the same signal. So instead of individual control, both LEDs will now behave as one. When pin 4 goes high, they both turn on. When it goes low, they both turn off. In short, they are electrically in parallel but logically controlled as one. Now let's plug in the Arduino. Pressing the buttons won't do anything yet because we still need to program the microcontroller. So let's open the Arduino IDE and bring the circuit to life. We'll start by declaring the variables for our pins. In my previous videos, I've been using #define. But today, I want to show you another way to do this using integers. By using int, we are telling the Arduino to treat these variables as whole numbers. And since these pin numbers should stay the same throughout our code, we'll add the word const before them. Using const int is generally considered a cleaner and more modern approach than using #define, because it helps the compiler catch errors much more easily and keeps our code better organized. Now let's define which pins we are using for each LED. In the setup function, we need to define the mode for each pin. We'll set both push buttons to input pull-up. Remember, this is the reason why we don't need a physical resistor connected to the button. It's also important to keep in mind that the internal resistor keeps the pin high by default. So when the button is open, it reads high, and when we press it, it connects to ground and reads low. As for the LEDs, we'll set them all as outputs, since they will be receiving our commands. Next, we need to read the values coming from the buttons inside the loop function. To do that, we use digital read. But to actually use these values, we need to store them in variables to keep track of the button states. These aren't constants because their values will change every time we interact with the circuit. Now, let's assign the variables we just created to each digital read. Let's look at the green circuit. If the green button is pressed, meaning the state is low, the 3 green LEDs will alternate in sequence. Otherwise, they stay off. To make this happen, we use a sequence of digital write commands. In each step, we turn one LED high and the other to low. Then, we add a 500 millisecond delay so the eye can follow the movement. We repeat this 3 times, shifting the high state for the next LED in line. If the button isn't being pressed, the else statement ensures all LEDs stay off. For the yellow pad, both LEDs share the same pin, so the code is much more simpler. We just check the button state and blink the yellow LED pin on and off. Since they are wired in parallel, they will turn on or off together under this single command. Once all the code is written, let's hit verify. Oops, it looks like I've got an error here. Let me check. Okay. I see it. I forgot to W in one of the commands. Verify it again, and finally upload it to the Arduino. Once we upload the code and press the green button, the green LEDs light up one after another in a clean sequence. If I press the yellow button, both LEDs turn on together, acting as a pair. So far, everything works exactly as expected. But here's where things get interesting. What happens if I press both buttons at the same time? Take a look. Something feels off, right? Even though the circuits are independent, they don't seem to run at the same time. This is a very common beginner mistake, and the reason lies in those delay functions we use in our code. Whenever the Arduino hits a delay, it literally stops everything else to wait. Fortunately, there's a way to fix this using a function called millis. This allows the Arduino to track time in the background without ever pausing the program. But since this video was all about mastering parallel circuits, we'll dive into the world of millis in a future project. I hope you liked this one. If you did, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Stay curious, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next one.